Why hello, welcome to RegularTech, the only show on YouTube where I just kind of look at whatever happens to be in my house at any particular time. Today we're looking at the Xperia 1 Mark II, which we're going to unbox. This is a lot of phone for a lot of money. Let's get to it. Oops. Some might say it's overkill, but so, if you're not familiar with Sony, the Xperia line is their top of the line smartphone division or model. I've been drinking. So what we have here is, as you can see, a very tall phone. So what sets the Xperia 1 Mark II apart from other phones is it has a 4K display, even though it's a little bit shy of that. I think it's like 3840 by something like 1660. So a little bit shy of actual 4K, but that's due to this 21:9 aspect ratio you see here. So I was a little hesitant to get this phone, even though it ticks off most of the boxes I'm looking for. Primarily waterproof, which is important. It says IP656A rating. Look at that, it's not very heavy. That's pretty cool. I'm shooting this on a OnePlus 7 Pro, which is a nice large phone, but it is quite heavy. So as you can see, very sleek. Oh, it's made by Sony. That's always good to see. And as you can see, triple camera setup with Zeiss optics. I don't know if you can hear this. Ready? Satisfying. That is easy to grip, and it's not too heavy. Definitely a fingerprint magnet. So again, what sets this phone apart is, like I said, I've got some stuff I normally look for. It's hard to find like 16:9 aspect ratios phones these days. Usually the smallest you'll get is like 18:9. So going 21:9 is honestly the other side of my comfort zone, but it has a lot of other features I'm looking for. Like I said, it's waterproof. It has, and this is going to shock everyone, a 3.5mm headphone jack, which was important in case I want to plug in like a microphone, because this is going to be my heavy-duty video / photograph phone. It's got Gorilla Glass 6 front and back. It has wireless charging, Qi wireless charging. I forget what it goes up to. It's got these are three 12-megapixel sensors. It's 16, 24, and 70mm for the focal length, so that kind of mimics what you'd see in handheld cameras. In fact, that's the theme here, as you see by the naming. 1 Mark II mirrors the Sony A line of cameras. So some of the big features on here is you've got 60 frames, 60 times per second, essentially autofocus. You can also do burst mode with this really cool feature called a camera button, which again, another thing I look for. And also, this is maybe not a feature for everyone, but it's got the fingerprint sensor embedded on the side, which I really like. I've had the last two phones I've had, to include the OnePlus, and then I had the Galaxy S10 before that, had the optical fingerprint. Well, I think it was ultrasonic in the S10, and it was honestly terrible. Like, I got rid of the phone because it was so terrible for me, either because I've just burned off my fingerprint so much. The OnePlus is honestly quite a bit better because it's optical. But having owned two previous Sony phones, the Z2 and the XC Premium, I really like having the sensor on the side. Hopefully this one works well. I've kind of seen mixed reviews online as far as how people like it. Again, this is running Android 10. It's waterproof, and this is kind of cool. So to make ease of use to get stuff in and out, the SIM tray can actually just come out with your fingernail, which is pretty unusual. It's got water sealing, and this will take an SD card up to 1 terabyte. It's got 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage on board. It's got a Snapdragon 865 5G, and it does have some 5G bands, but just like none in the US, because why would that be useful? It's a strange decision on Sony's part to sell this phone in the States without 5G bands for the States. but we'll see how that works out. It also has 4,000 milliamp battery, and if you haven't used a Sony phone, they've got this nice battery care system where essentially they'll charge your phone overnight or whatever your schedule happens to be, and it'll basically charge it up slowly so that it's fully charged by the time you wake up and or are ready to use it. So it helps preserve the battery life. You want to keep your phone. Like, I plan on keeping this in a couple of years, hopefully. Knock on wood. This is wood. So we'll see how that goes. It also supports PS4 remote play. You can play it on your screen. You can also hook up a DualShock to this if you want to do some gaming. And then it's got something called dynamic vibration, which is not getting the best reviews online, not gonna lie, but essentially as you're playing music or doing stuff, the phone vibrates in sync, varies the intensity, so we'll see how that goes. In fact, a lot of the comments I've seen is people don't like the vibration motion or the vibration motor on this phone, so hopefully it's better than I've read. So let's see what else is in the box. Got, of course, some Sony earbuds. Not terribly packaged, guys, but bullets sound not too bad. They look comfy. I assume they're okay. I will probably never use these because I have some other ones I use. Got the usual US power brick. It's USB-C power delivery, 18 watts, so I've got a nice 18-watt charger in the back. Again, this is not anywhere near the fastest charging phone. 18 watts is probably going to sound slow, but unless you need to top up quickly, I've never found it to be a problem personally, so I'm not too worried. Comes with a nice USB-C. That's pretty much it besides for guides and stuff. So probably don't need either of these. If you're like me, you have like 5,000 chargers and cables laying around. Plus I'm probably going to use this. I have a wireless dock I just got. See if I like that. Just get out of here. So if you order this early enough, it's just the floor. It's not a big deal. You actually got a pair of the WF-1000XM3s. So I actually got this as a pre-order, which is funny because these came like the next day, and the phone didn't show up for basically never because of Amazon. But these have active noise canceling, a ginormous case for literally no reason that I can tell. Like the battery on this thing is not even any bigger. It does have a satisfying click when you open it and close it, so I'm a fan of that. These are actually quite comfortable, even though they look fairly large. They got touch sensors on there. I'm not going to go too in depth in these, so I'm going to do a review of these versus the Galaxy Buds. But like I said, I've been using this about a month and a half, and I actually really like them. I like them more than the Galaxy Buds I was using previously. Like I said, good pre-order bonus. Unless you lived in Europe or overseas, you actually got the WH-1000X3s, the full-on headphones that go over your head, which are like the nicest ones you can buy unless you got super money. So, I'll take these, but it would have been nice to have the other ones. I also have this does not come with it, Spigen rugged armor case I'm going to put on there and see how that does. And of course, because I've got an SD card, I must put something in here, so I'm going to put the Samsung Evo 256 in there, so crank it up to 512 gigs. So that should be nice. So let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on and see what's going on. I mean, that was a long pause. I was like, oh, I'm going to be on camera and this thing's not going to turn on because I didn't charge it at all. But we got some life. So like I said, this is a 6.5 inch 4K OLED display with HDR support. I forget which one. Willkommen. So I'll go ahead and set this up, and then we'll come back. All right, as you see, I've got it set up. Took a little bit. As always, if you have a smartwatch, I haven't done it yet, but I've got to reset my watch with the phone. Not the best feature. I guess it's secure, but it's super annoying if you're messing around with your phone or your watch. So it does have an always-on display. Too fast. So it'll show you, you can put a little message down there. It'll show you the clock, notification, etc. That's pretty nice. So far the fingerprint reader is super fast. Very happy with that. It's been a while since I had a volume key on the right side. So a little bit to get used to. Pretty happy so far. The tallness of the display is definitely going to take some getting used to. Sound quality, decent. It's not as loud as my OnePlus Pro 7. OnePlus 7 Pro. Let's try this. Of course, now it's a copyright strike. Maybe do something else. And that actually didn't mean to unlock it. It's a fingerprint sensor. Fingerprint sensor is quite responsive and quick. Viewing full screen. Thank you. That's super useful. So the sound is not as loud as my OnePlus 7 Pro, but it's pretty good. Definitely good clarity. As you can see with that 21:9 ratio, you get quite a bit of bars. And of course, I always recommend some throttle house.
Welcome to the Throttle House test track, our very own corner of the earth where we can...
On the side, you can of course zoom in, and you lose, goodness, I would say a third of the top and the bottom. So that's less than ideal. One of the reasons I don't particularly like tall phones, but I'm willing to kind of overlook that for some of the other features. Like I missed this. So with the camera button, you can actually just hold it and bring up the camera. Boop. No one wants that. That's some of my snagly mess. And it's actually a 2-stage camera button, so you can press it down halfway to focus and then all the way to take the picture. So what I like to do on stuff like this is actually just put in multiple fingers. So I usually put, you know, my pointer finger, my thumb, my side finger, just for ease of use. One thing Android will normally let you do is add multiple fingerprints, and then it was funny with the Galaxy S10. I actually would add like one finger like 2 times, 3 times, just so it had enough profiles that would actually always recognize. That's how bad that ultrasonic sensor was. I think the software is hopefully better in the new ones because it was just a deal breaker for me. So I can see pretty responsive. Now, one thing that is helping this is something I always do. Going into developer options and essentially just turning off animation speeds. So you usually have them at default of 1. I usually just turn them off. Just makes it snappier. A little pro tip, maybe, you know. So I would say it's not as smooth as my OnePlus 7 Pro, but I wasn't expected to be. I did turn on the motion blur reduction to see if it made a difference. I really couldn't tell a difference, and that's kind of what I've seen online as far as if that helps, because this is a 60 hertz display. It's not as fluid as you find in the 90 hertz or the 120 hertz. That's become commonplace in the flagships. The trade-off is, again, this is a 4K display, so you can actually watch 4K video. Let's see. Not RK. Listen to me. So, let's see if my internet can keep up with this. Let's watch ads. That's what you're here for. They're not even my ads. So let's see if we can get this to actually go some 4K. 480, that doesn't quite do it, does it? Boom, there you go, 2160. So it's obviously quite sharp. Just get it there. And you can always tell if HDR is on, because everything gets super bright. So good sound right now. This looks quite smooth. Obviously you're not going to get the 4K effect on my 1080 video here, but this is actually playing at 4K 60 Hertz, which is pretty nice. So there's this thing called side sense. You basically just touch the side and get to work. It's pretty not great. So once you did that, you can essentially use this kind of one-handed mode, or just randomly do that. So not terrible. The reviews I've read, the videos I've watched, people didn't like this too much. It's not terrible, I guess. It's kind of weird because you feel like you're just tapping the side of the phone, and from here you can just bring up whatever app you want. You can actually do like this, and you can do multi-window, which this does. I don't know if I can get this to work. Maps, boom. So as you can see, we now have YouTube at the top, Google Maps at the bottom. So useful. Not as easy, I would say, as the OnePlus launcher, where you can essentially just hold an item and make it. I also don't like that there's not the close all back there, it's all the way over here. So that's a little hard to get used to. So the two big selling points, I'm not gonna get too much into here, are the Cinema Pro app and the Photo Pro app. And what these do is, yes, give you a nice splash screen apparently. Okey-dokey, got it. So if you're familiar with Sony's cameras, and I'm honestly not, this is essentially the kind of interface you see there. It's got a lot of different options, so I'm not going to go into here because I don't know what they all are. All of my knowledge comes from watching other YouTube videos, but I do intend to kind of do a review later. So again, so far pretty happy. It's a nice package. It scratches some of the itches. One of them being a good price is not one of them. This phone is $1,200 right now. It does come, if you're lucky, with the bundled XM3 earbuds, which are quite nice, and up to $230 is what they came out with originally. You can get them actually for about $170, $175 these days. So not terrible, but it still puts it in Galaxy S20 Ultra, big iPhone territory. So a lot of competition. So if you're not the photography buff, this may not be the phone for you. I honestly want to get into doing better YouTube videos. That's actually why I picked this up. I was considering getting just a standalone camera, but I decided I would give this a try because, again, I've had two other Sony phones that I really liked. I like that this is pretty minimal for Android. Sony's always been really good at updates. I'm not super caring about 4K. 1440 is fine. Honestly, a good 1080 screen is fine on most phones for me. Boop, game enhance, skip. No, why would I do that? No, none of this. Deny, get off. No, no, goodness. What part of skip did you make sense? So, as you see, this is their little game enhancing app. That's some Angry Birds too. So, from what I've reviewed or watched on YouTube, one benefit of this wider screen is most, especially FPF games, will have the controls on the sides. So this leaves the middle free. I'm not sure how that's going to translate to Angry Birds. So let's just see. I mean, clearly I'm the greatest Angry Birds player you've ever seen. Take that. This is not a taxing game. It will warm up your phone after a while, but obviously it's 2D. Nice. So I actually should turn on the, let me see if I can do that. Nope. Let's hope I can turn on the dynamic vibration, but maybe next time. You always got my eggs. So that worked pretty well. Switching back is quick. so that's pretty much it for now. I'll go ahead and put on this Spigen case. I like Spigen. They're not in any way, shape, or form compensating me for this video. I just always had good luck. In fact, this is the case I have on OnePlus 7. Had it for over a year. So one cool thing, they have these little glue-on kickstands. I love having a kickstand on my phone, but most cases don't come with it. So, boom. These are like $10 on Amazon. I may try to pry this off here to put on that one because I'm cheap. Well, let's see. This again, no sponsors for any videos. So this is their rugged armor line. I usually prefer the clear TPU, but I don't think they have one out yet. Sometimes they'll do these with the kickstands. I forget what they call them. I actually have one for the OnePlus, but it's so big and the OnePlus is so heavy anyway. I didn't super care for it, so I just switched to that TPU case, which is, that one is not a Spigen, but it does have the Spigen kickstand on it. So definitely a fingerprint magnet. I do like the flat sides. I'll see if I can do this. People said you could actually set it up on its side, but you can. Amazing. So let's put some more protection on here. So there you have it. This is the end of my unboxing of the OnePlus. The unboxing of this Sony Xperia 1 Mark II filmed with my OnePlus 7 Pro. So thanks for tuning in. See you next time.